A super strike is a serious felony committed by a repeat offender under California law. All right, joining me now to get through all of this is former federal prosecutor Neama Rahmani and criminal defense attorney Brian Claypool, who also represented numerous victims of child sexual abuse. Neama, unauthorized cell phone use might not be a super strike, but what about drug use and helping another inmate cheat on his taxes?
Well, it's an issue. If you're looking at resentencing, one of the factors is history while in prison, disciplinary history, in addition to rehabilitation, the wishes of the victims, and other factors that really concern whether it's a fair and just sentence. So, Hochman is digging his heels in. He's taking a very different position than his predecessor, George Gascon, who initiated all this. I'm sure Hochman did not want to go down this path, but the judge said it was too late. So Nathan is pointing at two real issues. The first is the brothers haven't accepted responsibility for what they did. They never admitted that they killed their parents for financial gain or for revenge. And the fact that they have this disciplinary history in prison are really the only factors that point against the resentencing, because I think the rest of the factors do support it.
All right, but Brian, the resentencing hearing is now finally on. It's been canceled or postponed several times already. It is going to happen now next week. This could be a huge moment for the Menendez brothers. Do you think they will win resentencing and release in the next few weeks?
Hey, Elizabeth, great to be back with you. Hey, given what happened today, I'm surprised that the judge did not wait on this resentencing hearing until the full risk assessment report is out. A little bit of the cat is out of the bag, and that little bit that's out of the bag kind of supports Hochman and the prosecution. So if I'm the judge sitting there, Elizabeth, I'd be like, wait a minute. If that's true, what you're saying is in that report, let me get this entire risk assessment report, and then let's include that in the entire resentencing hearing, or more important, let me consider all of that information in the risk assessment report before I decide that we're going to have a resentencing hearing. So I'm a little bit surprised that this is going forward.
Especially because, it's interesting, and I know you have represented a lot of victims of child sexual abuse, and Eric and Lau Menendez, and have claimed that is why they murdered their parents, because they were being sexually abused by their father, that their mother did nothing to stop it. And their case has gotten a huge amount of public support because of those allegations. But it was really interesting that D.A. Hochman read the psychologist examination of both these brothers, noting that one of them still has antisocial tendencies and is prone to feelings of entitlement, which goes right back to why the government, in this case the Los Angeles District Attorney's Office, has always argued they committed the murders, because they wanted the money.
Yeah, Elizabeth, look, I've represented over 200 victims of child sexual abuse, and most of them, I will tell you, are extremely traumatized. They are not feeling a sense of entitlement. They are still extremely depressed. They are antisocial. They don't have trust. They have trust issues with people in general. And some of my clients have tried to commit suicide as well. So my point of sharing that with you is that the behavior you're seeing as set forth in this partial risk assessment doesn't really mirror what most victims of child sexual abuse are experiencing years later after the abuse.
Neama, unsurprisingly, things are very tense between D.A. Hochman and the Menendez brothers' family. They filed a motion to have Hochman kicked off the case. Today, lawyer Mark Garagos said, okay, he's going to drop the motion because he just wants things to move along. But he did also today accuse Nathan Hochman of spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on a social media campaign against the brothers. That's the first time I've ever heard of something like that.
I've never heard of something like that, and I've lived in Southern California my entire life. There's no question it's gotten nasty between Garagos and Hochman. It's gotten personal. But I think Garagos withdrew the motion because you really can't get a prosecutor disqualified or kicked off a case unless there's a conflict of interest, like, family member or a financial stake in the case. So the fact that you disagree with your adversary is certainly not enough. I think Garagos knew it was a loser. One thing Brian touched upon real quickly is this comprehensive risk assessment report. The reason we're talking about this is normally it doesn't even come into a resentencing, but the governor ordered it in anticipation that the brothers would be paroled. It's something that's really used down the road for a parole board to determine whether the brothers are a risk to the public. So typically, this doesn't even come into a resentencing. That's why the whole case is a mess.
Well, I know, but the point is they wouldn't be eligible for parole unless they were resentenced. D.A. Hochman has tried repeatedly to fight the resentencing hearing. He's come on this show several times to tell me that he feels the brothers have never fully apologized or taken ownership of their crimes. He says their claim at the trial that they killed their parents in self-defense was a lie, and that the brothers need to publicly admit that.
I've worked with Nathan, and I respect him, and he's really sort of dug his heels in on this one position. And I understand it. He's saying, listen, if the brothers really want to be resentenced, they should admit what they did. The problem is they have a pending habeas petition that says that they did all this in self-defense. So that's going on a parallel track.
So obviously, they're trying to. You're saying they can't.
They can't. It's inconsistent with the legal arguments that they're making before another judge related to this same case.
Brian, super quick, just 10 seconds. What do you think is going to happen next week at this resentencing hearing now that it is finally going to happen?
Yeah, my guess is that I think this judge is going to grant resentencing. But that said, I hope the viewers realize that doesn't mean that the Menendez brothers are granted parole. All that means is it goes to the parole board then, and then they've got the full risk assessment report, and then they will make the ultimate determination whether these guys get out of jail. So they don't get out of jail if they win the resentence.
Next week, right. They still got to go before that parole board, who will have that entire sealed report in front of them. Neama Rahmani, Brian Claypool, thank you so much. Have a great weekend.